Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. Today, I will be talking about how pornography is killing your relationship. This is both for couples and for young adults. We are going to be talking about this explicitly as much as I can, because of Facebook restrictions. I might just hold back some stuff, but it's a serious matter. Pornography is eating into our society today. Even for some of us that are watching, we might be struggling with it. You know, you look at the internet today, one of the ways to get so many views is just to put a woman that is maybe somebody wants to undress. You will want to see what's really happened, and because of that, you will click. They are using this thing to reel people in because it is something that we respond to because it's part of us. This emotion is part of us. But we also must be careful and see how this thing is beginning to kill our relationships. In fact, many marriages are broken today because of intimacy issues. When you go deep, the issue has to do with intimacy. And many of our young persons today are unable to commit, to get to that point where they are able to commit to one another because they are having intimacy issues. And down into that, at the background, is pornography, masturbation that leads to this masturbation and all that things because they are all connected together. And this can be very addictive, and it can affect your ability to be intimate, to experience what true intimacy really is. For example, imagine using a blueprint that is based on fantasy to build a real home. For example, that's what pornography does to the idea of intimacy. We are trying to build, a home, a real home based on fantasy. Some of us are fantasizing. There's a lot that is going on in the media space today. We are talking about, this person you have to leak, you have to do this, these are perversions. We learned it from somewhere. It came from somewhere. Something has projected it to us. You understand? Something projected it to us. So there is a fundamental problem somewhere. For example, you see that pornography actually brings out the problem of distorted body image and performance standards. Highly edited scenes that teach us that that bodies must walk and look and perform a certain way. Creating anxiety and self-doubt in the bedroom. So people are becoming afraid. For example, there was a woman that came to me and says, "I don't understand how to please my husband. I'm tired. He expects me to do it like this, to do like this, to do like this." There's a lot of confusion. Your body is not well shaped. This because it is informed by this thing that he has seen. So when these things we see in this sense on pornography, we think that that's how it should be in real life. So we are trying to build our home based on this fantasy that we see on tape, not knowing that it's a heavily edited scene. And these performances that you see are things that are enhanced by drugs and all kinds of things that I cannot even say here. Understand? So we expect the woman's body to be in a certain shape, or the man to be in a certain shape, because pornography has informed our minds on that. So it affects your ability to commit, your ability to be intimate with your partner. Like I said, this woman became so confused because she felt, my husband is demanding this, because he has learned it from somewhere. And then we see that pornography also causes emotional disconnection. Some of us don't know that. Many persons that are engaged in this idea of pornography and by extension masturbation, they are usually disconnected emotionally. In fact, they find it hard to be intimate. They find it hard because pornography focuses on visual stimulation over emotional exchange. So we start craving what looks exciting instead of what feels fulfilling. You understand? And that's the reason why you see our young people jumping here and there, jumping from one person to another. And then that's what raises the question. When we begin to talk about the need to have a sane relationship before marriage, say, how do I know that this person can pleasure me now? How do I know that this person can do this? This is what raises the question. It is because our minds are distorted. Something is wrong somewhere. So we are looking for exciting things instead of things that are fulfilling. So how will I know that this person? So we are testing here, we are testing there, testing here, testing there. It's because something has distorted our minds. How do you know that this one is better than this one? It's because something has distorted your mind. Something has informed you. Something has informed you that that's how it's supposed to be. So you see, pornography will make you begin to crave for what's exciting instead of what is fulfilling. It affects your relationship. It is killing your relationship with that person that you're supposed to be spending the rest of your life with. It is breaking you apart. So you need to come out of pornography. You need to come out of this fantasy world that is killing our people today, that is killing marriages today. And this idea of pornography actually begins to make you breed secretive habits and shame, especially when you begin to engage in masturbation because of pornography. Because as you are masturbating, something will lead you to, something will want to stimulate you. And of course, pornography is the next option to stimulate you to that point. And so because of that, you are unable to learn what intimacy really is. Shame drives users underground, preventing honest conversation with partners. So you're unable to really talk about it. Many people that are actually having issues with masturbation, with pornography, you don't want to talk about it. It's your little God at one small corner. Hiding your habits only fuels distance. You begin to distance yourself from your partner. You begin to distance yourself from people because it is making you withdraw every time you go back to it. And that's why it is addictive. It is destructive. It is destructive and it will destroy your relationships. It will break it down. And then, pornography makes us to fall into this comparison trap. This one is very dangerous. In fact, we have heard women that will say, my husband is not performing well. And then you go on the internet today and then you see people asking questions like, how long should a man last? For example, how long should a man last? And then you see girls saying 1 hour, at least 30 minutes, at least this, that. Let me tell you something. It's not about how long the person lasts. That's not what makes sex good. You can be there for 1 hour and it is a terrible experience for the woman and for the man. Agonizing. Because of what pornography has done to us, we think that is how it should be. The longer you last, the better it is. But that's not true. That's not true. It's fantasy. We are building our sex life around fantasy. And it's affecting us. And that's the reason why we are not seeing any satisfaction in it. We are not seeing people who are truly happy. And you begin to compare. You begin to compare one with another. We measure our real life sex lives against what we are seeing on the screen, against these orchestrated performances. Let me use that word. Then we feel inadequate, and in reality, we don't know that these things are scripted. They are scripted sensationalism. They have acted it out for you to think that is how sex should be, that is how it should be. They are informing, they are giving you a wrong information, and then you begin to compare yourself to these people. You need to compare yourself to these things, and then at last, we cannot meet up. You cannot meet up. And so people are driven into taking drugs, taking some stimulants, taking some enhancing drugs, and this affects your health. This affects you. So we need to be very careful. But pornography is not the way out. We need to come back to reality. We need to come back to reality and do it the way God says we should do it. Sex should be fun, but it's not something you do outside marriage. That's why it's ought to be in the marriage, in the marriage union, and then it should be sane. It should be sane. It should not be based on fantasy. Don't be based on these things we see. So pornography is a killer. It will kill you. It will destroy you. Now, let's take a quick pause. Now, let's ask some questions. I just want you to interact with me here. How has pornography influenced your expectation of intimacy? For example, let's be sincere here. You can leave that on the comment section. For example, what you have seen in movies, how have they affected the way you see sex? It has affected all of us. In one way or the other, when we are young, there is a kind of mindset we have. For example, when we are younger, if they ask you, how do you want your life to look like? You will hear the ladies who say, well, I want to marry a husband and then we'll love each other forever. This Cinderella mindset. I'm just giving an example. And then you see people say, I will not buy a car, we'll not be loving each other. But when you now wake up to the reality, you now come up to the real life, you now see that is not the way it is. And we are stunned. We are stunned. You see, it has affected us. In a way, it has affected. So how has it affected you? What is your worldview? How do you see this issue of pornography? Do you think that it is bad? Do you think that it's something that it will help couples? Because I have actually seen and heard people telling me some time ago that actually somebody recommended to a couple that they should watch pornography, that it will help them to become more intimate. When the crisis began, they came. And then they said, we are sad. I said, why would you be watching that? It will destroy your marriage because you will start living your life based on that. You start trying to meet up and you cannot meet up. You will keep falling short. In short, the man has become so sad that he was no longer performing at work. His boss was angry with him. And he says, my life is falling apart. Let's go and meet pastor. Let's go and meet pastor on this issue. They were so ashamed. He said, pastor, we are ashamed to tell you this. I said, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It is part of the marriage life. It is part of your life. We should talk about these issues. We should look at these issues. It is destroying many marriages today. If you are having challenges, if your husband is having unnecessary expectations, send him this video. Pornography is not real. It is scripted. These things are not real. We need to unlearn these things we have learned. If your wife is having unnecessary expectations from you, send this video to her. Have this discussion with your spouse. If not, your marriage will tear apart. It will fall apart. It will fall apart. And young ones, I tell you, you are not married now. Please be careful. Be very careful the things you look at. Be very careful your worldview of what sex should be. Be very careful about that because it will affect the way you do things. It will affect your interaction with your spouse in the future. Your relationship will be broken. For you to be committed, it will be hard, friends. So have you ever caught yourself comparing real moments to what is on the screen, what you have seen on the screen? So please just share your experience and your questions below. Please, if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. I would want to hear from you. In fact, let's have this conversation. Please, let's not be ashamed. Let's have this conversation. It is real. These things are affecting people for real. If there's any experience you know of, please share with me. And if there's a question, please ask your question. I would love to interact with you. Give me your perspective. Give me your perspective on this idea. I want to learn from you also. Please, let us talk about this issue. Let's give it a wide view. We can make it happen. We can share. We can let it go. Let's just let it go out. It's not about me. Let's make it go out. You can begin to share right now with others so that they can join us. So how can we help? How can we stop? How can we rekindle the flame? What are some of the practical pointers? This is for couples now. To restore your intimacy. Number one, open up a sincere, vulnerable conversation with your spouse. Talk about it. Talk about how you feel. Talk about how you want it to look like, how you have been fantasizing it to look like, and then talk about how that is bad. You need to tell yourself the truth, and then just have a sincere conversation. No interruptions, no judgment. Both of you should be able to talk about it without any judgment. Honey, I have been watching this thing and I am thinking that this is how it should be. I'm sorry. Don't judge your husband. Don't judge your wife about it. Just talk about it. You will see that you will have a holistic togetherness. You understand? You have a holistic marriage. Now, unplug Windows. What do I mean by that? Set aside devices and then have a dedicated time with your spouse. Put these screens aside. That thing you are watching, put it aside. Have a fast on it. Have a few time to interact. Just discuss with your spouse. In normal discussion, both of you, nobody should instigate the discussion. It should not be an outsider that comes. Then that's when you and your wife can talk and laugh. No, talk and laugh when nobody's around. Talk with your spouse. Have time with her. Have time with your spouse. Touch each other. Laugh. Play with each other. Play. Let the child in you come out. Your spouse is your best friend. Let the child in you come out. You will see that things will change. You will begin to understand that 2 minutes can be the best, can be better than 1 hour. What is what we are saying that a man needs to laugh? You will be shocked. You will be shocked. How wonderful this is. So take time to remove these distractions and spend time with your spouse. Now, rediscover each other's love language. Know what your spouse like. Naturally, they are Achilles heels in our body. Normal. The one that God has placed there. This one you don't need. It's not pornography matter. This is something that is inbuilt. Make it sweet. You touch the person in the place that they will like it. It's a natural thing in them. This mentality that we're having as Christians that, when you talk about sex, it means that you are bad, you are this. No, God has made, this is part of God's business. He wants you and your spouse to be together. The idea that sex is evil, in quote, is still in our mind. So we are so afraid of it. We are so shy about it. But it's killing us. We are dying inside. And that's the reason why all these things are happening here and there. We need to wake up and we need to follow God's plan for our marriage. Where do they like to be touched? Touch them. Words, gifts, acts of service, quality time. These things can make someone have that time and they want to be with you. Now plan some mini adventures together. Sometimes do things together as a couple. These things will help to increase your intimacy. Then seek support when it's needed. Talk about some things with another couple. If you're having a godly couple, not people that will pull you outside there, people that you can trust, another couple that you can trust, you can talk about some of these things. And then when you talk about them, you find solutions. You find solutions together. The human relationship is not an island. We are all connected together. No man lives for himself. And no man dies for himself either. We are all connected. We are to be a community of support to one another. That is how it should be. That's how it should be, friends. So seek help when you need it. So be ready to breathe a fresh air into your marriage. And know that God is willing to do that for you. Your relationships can be flawless. Your relationships can be beautiful. It doesn't have to be fighting all the time. It doesn't have to be filled with anxiety and pain and unobtainable expectations. No. You can have a good relationship and a good marriage. I pray that God will bless us. Please leave your comments below. The discussion goes on. Please, if you watch this video even after the live, give me your candid opinion on this matter. I will respond. I promise you, I will respond. In fact, I will respond with a video. Ask me any question at all on this matter. Just give me your candid opinion and we can go across and we can go over it again and again. God bless you and peace be with you.